الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فالهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها وكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. صدق الله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت وعليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ وقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب هوذي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه، عليك السلام يا من اختار الله، تأذن لي أن أدخل معكما تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي، ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام، وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع لديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، اتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. فقال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحبي لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، اتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. وقال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بدعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء، فلما اكتمل جميعا تحت الكساء، أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومع بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحمتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يعلمني ما يعلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا هرب لمن هاربهم، وسلم لمن سالمهم، وعدو لمن عاداهم، ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. واجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، واذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنيا ولا عرضا مدهيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مذيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. وقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها فقال جبرائيل يا ربي تأذن لي أن أحبت إلى الأرض لأكون معهم صادصا. فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك فهبت الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتهية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنيا ولا أرضا مدهيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وكذا أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل أمين جبرائيل وعنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله الذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. وقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. وقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر قبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا طالب حاجتي إلا وقضى الله حاجته. وقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
बहुत से बुलंद सलावत बार दीगर सलावत पांच इमामों का रहा बल के सहारा अब्बास पांच इमामों का रहा बन के सहारा अब्बास मुस्तफ़े पंजतने पाक का पारा अब्बास फातिमा ज़हरा بنو ہاشم کا قمر، فاطمہ زہرا کا بیٹا، بنو ہاشم کا قمر، 14 معصوم کی ہے آنکھ کا تارا عباس، 5 اماموں کا رہا بن کے سہارا عباس، کوئی کیا سمجھے اسے جس کو کہے آل نبی، کوئی کیا سمجھے اسے جس کو کہے آل نبی، ہم ہیں غم خوار زمانے کے ہمارا عباس، ہم ہیں غم خوار زمانے کے ہمارا عباس، خود ہی مشکیزے میں عباس کے آ جاتی پران، خود ہی مشکیزے میں عباس کے آ جاتی پران، اس کو کہہ دیتے اگر ایک اشارہ عباس، اس کو کہہ دیتے اگر ایک اشارہ عباس، تیری تربت کے جو زوار ہیں بتلاتے ہیں، تیری تربت کے جو زوار ہیں بتلاتے ہیں، القمہ پہ ہے تیرا اب بھی اجارہ عباس، تیری تربت القمہ پہ ہے تیرا اب بھی اجارہ عباس، وہ تو کہیے نہ ملا اذن غازی کو، وہ تو کہیے نہ ملا اذن غازی کو، ورنہ کس جنگ میں افواج سے ہارا عباس، ورنہ کس جنگ میں افواج سے ہارا عباس، دے کے مشکیزہ سکینہ سے کہا سرور نے دے کے مشکیزہ سکینہ سے کہا سرور نے لوٹ کے رن سے نہ اے گا تمہارا عباس لوٹ کے رن سے نہ آئے گا تمہارا عباس 5 اماموں کا رہا بن کے سہارا عباس مصطفی پنجتن پاک کا پارا عباس بواز بلند صلوات. Assalamu alaikum mu'mineen. Just some housekeeping announcements. As you all know, Dua Center runs on you guys, and without it, we wouldn't be able to have this English Ashra. We are looking for sponsors, so if you'd like to sponsor a Majlis, you can get in contact with Mir Uncle or Jabin Auntie. And if you're interested in reciting, you can come to me or Abid Uncle after the Majlis. I would like you all to please rise as I invite Dr. Sheeba Rizvi to the mimbar. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala.
ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله على ما أنعم وله الشكر على ما ألهم والثناء بما قدم من عموم النعم ابتداها وصبوغ لان نسداها وتمام منن نولاها ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خير المبشرين والمنذرين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد. وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على Dearest mu'mineen and mu'minat, it is my great honor once again to be here and to have the opportunity to talk with you. We continue our discussion on Hubb Ahl Bayt is Deen and Deen is Hubb Ahl Bayt. In this discussion, we are trying to go through some words and terminologies and see what they mean and how they apply to our lives and our existence. We've been discussing what is love and what is the opposite of love, what is hubb. We have said love and hubb have many forms or synonyms. Mashiyat is one of them. Mashiyat basically gives rise to the word Masha Allah or Insha-Allah. So the Shah of Allah is the Chahat of Allah, is the hubb of Allah, is the Mashiyat of Allah. Yesterday we said that all of this gets embodied in the holy form of the holy daughter of the holy messenger. And she embodies what we're calling Mashiyat. When we were discussing what we were yesterday, we also came to the point where we saw 7 levels of deen. That means when it comes to deen, we know that there is Islam, but above Islam, we said there is Iman. In one hadith, it says that each level has 10 steps. These 10 steps are very important for us. So what happens is, in one hadith, we see that it says that there are 7 levels. In another one, it says each level is 10 steps. And in some ahadiths, they've given 5 levels, in some 6, and in some 7. When we add all of them together, we get these 7 levels. And it is said that the 10th level of Iman is lower, the 10th level of Islam is lower than the first level of Iman. And the 10th level of Iman is lower than the first level of Taqwa. And the 10th level of Taqwa is lower than the first level of what we call Zuhud. And the 10th level of Zuhud is lower than the first level of Wara'a. And the 10th level of Wara'a is lower than the first level of Yaqeen. And the 10th level of Yaqeen is lower than the first level of Riza. So these levels, what they do is, they identify you, which means they put you in a hierarchy within the deen itself and in the eyes of Allah as well. Allah has created everything and He has put things one above the other. The Quran says regarding the prophets, فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Allah says in the Quran, I have put some prophets above others, which means not every prophet is equal. There's 124,000 prophets. Of them, 313 are above all of these, and they are the Rasul. And in the 313 Rasul that are superior to all the Anbiya, the next level is the Ulul Azam Nabi, which are the great Nabi. And those are the ones that are, for example, mentioned in Ziyaratul Warisa. So what you see is that there is hierarchy, there is ranking, and based upon our faith, our actions, we do achieve hierarchy. So it's like levels. And these levels are important. We may not really focus much on the levels of deen as much, but we do focus on levels in our life. When you're in first grade, you're very happy to go into second grade. When you're in 12th grade, you can't wait to graduate and go into university. And each level, what happens is we can't wait to get to the next level, but the next level sometimes ends up being not as amazing as we thought. So we were in 3rd grade and we said, we can't wait to get into 4th grade. We're going to be in, I don't know, in my time it was middle school. I don't know what's going on now. But middle school was a different campus, and there you are much older and you have a little bit of hair on your upper lip, and now you're starting to hit puberty and you can't wait to get there and it's going to be so awesome. And when you get there, you realize that, whoa, this is more work than I thought. I think I missed 3rd grade. And then you're thinking, okay, I can't wait to get into high school. Then I'll have so much freedom, and I'll have my own phone, and I'll have my friends, and I can do this and that, and join these clubs and be independent. And then you start to realize that, wait a minute, as you get there, there's a lot more work and pressure now. And then you start thinking, I can't wait till I'm 18. When I'm 18, I'm going to have my license, and I'm going to drive here and there and go everywhere. And it's going to be so great, that life will be the best. And then when you get to your license and you get your driving license, next thing you know is maybe you have to take your family somewhere, you have to take your siblings somewhere, you have to drop someone off somewhere else. And then you start to realize, wait a minute, this is more responsibility than I thought. And that's what happens with deen as well. But do we realize what ranking we are at? Are we at level 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? And what it does is it changes everything. Each level is a change in your perspective. And that's the most revolutionary thing that can happen in your life, when your perspective changes. Because perspective change means now you see the world in a different way. You know when your perspective has changed when you compare your today to your yesterday. And you say, you know, I was really dumb yesterday, and I'm a little smarter now. I see things different. I can't believe I used to think this. I can't believe I used to believe that. When you make fun of yourself, or you realize that you used to believe something or think something that is wrong or incorrect or not true, that is a change in your perspective. That is a revolution in the way you see the world. And when you change your perspective, you know that you have actually improved. And that's why the Holy Imam says, if your today is the same as your tomorrow, that life is not worth living. So the Imam is hinting at us that we should be changing and evolving our perspective daily. There is a group of people They come to the Imam in Medina. They come to Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq as-salatu was-salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli. Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. I may take a few extra water breaks today. I think I forgot to drink water yesterday. We've been busy. I guess we've all been busy. We forget things. And so they come to the Imam and they sit with the Imam and they say to the Imam that we are your followers, we are your lovers, and we believe in you, and we believe in you in a very, very high way. Which means we believe in your vilayat, we believe that, you can do this and you can do that, and you have these abilities, and Allah has given you these powers, Allah has given you this authority and that. And they go on and on. And they say, but you know what, Imam, there are people where we live in our city and they don't believe in you the same way we believe in you. Like we might believe, for example, they might believe the Imam is Noor and Allah has given the Imam the authority to control the skies or the earths, and maybe other people don't believe that. So other people think, no, they're not that powerful. Allah hasn't given them that power. So this is something that can come up often as an argument. How much authority does the Hujjat of Allah have? And these are things that people discuss and debate, and they come to their own conclusions. But this hadith tells you a lot. The Imam looks at them and says, so you mean they don't believe in us at the level that you believe in us? And they say, yes, that's true, Imam. The Imam says, so what do? They say, we don't talk to them. We ignore them. We don't associate with them. We consider them to be not true believers, and we have distanced ourselves from them. So the Imam says, okay, but they do love us. Yes, they love you, but they don't believe in you the same level that we believe in you. So the Imam says, that means they don't have our marifat and marifat of Allah at the level that you have. They say, that's correct. So your marifat is higher than theirs. Yes. The Imam says, tell me, who has more marifat for Allah, me or you? And they say, of course, you have more marifat. He says, so should I look at you and say that you have less marifat than me, and should I ignore you? Should I disassociate myself from you? Should I move away from you? And they say, no, Imam, please don't do that. And they say, then why are you doing that? The Imam says that you need to understand that everyone is at a certain step in the ladder of faith. And as they ascend the ladder, they learn more and they gain more marifah. Marifah is understanding. Marifah is comprehension. Marifah is when your ilm and your understanding come together and they give you a picture of what the hujjat of Allah is in your heart. This is marifah. So the Imam says that, someone is at the second step. Someone is at the third step. Someone is at the fourth step. Maybe someone is at the fifth. And Allah has not given everyone equal marifah. So he says that when someone comes to you who has lower marifah than you, then it doesn't mean you should disconnect yourself, but you should take that as an opportunity. Maybe Allah has sent him to you so that you can say something that will increase their understanding. And maybe Allah will guide them and give them ma'rifah through you. So the Imam said, it is like you are holding their hand. It is like you are standing on a step that is higher. They are below you. You are holding their hand. You hold their hand and pull them up to where you are standing. And when you pull them up to there, then Allah will reward you. How will Allah reward us? Allah will send to you someone who is at a step higher than you, and they will hold your hand and they will bring you up to this level. So when you believe in Ali at a certain point and someone else doesn't believe that Ali is that great, that's an opportunity for you to show them love, compassion, and explain things. If they don't want to listen, that is different. They don't want to understand, that is different. But if the intention in their heart is that I want to submit, then they will eventually understand. So there are levels, and each level, 10 levels, and then so on. Yesterday I said that we should try and put a little bit of description for each of these levels. And the first one is Islam. Islam is the lowest level, but there are 10 steps that lead to Iman. So what is the difference between Islam and Iman? You know, in one hadith, our holy Imam says, when he is asked what is the difference between Islam and Iman, he says, Islam, and you have to remember the mosque in Makkah when you hear this, Islam is the haram and Iman is the Kaaba. So when you are in the haram, you are at Islam level, but when you come closer to the Kaaba, now you are at Iman level. Also, there is a hadith, no, there's a ayat in the Quran. This ayat in the Quran, it says, وَقَالَتِ الْأَعْرَابِ, and the Bedouins say, Amanna, we have brought Iman. So they came to the Prophet, a tribe of people from the desert, and they said, "O Holy Messenger, we believe, we have Iman." And when they say Amanna, that means we have Iman. The Quran says, tell them, قُلْ لَمْ تُؤْمِنُوا, you have not brought Iman, you do not have Iman. وَلَكِنْ, but then you can say, قُولُوا, you can say, أَسْلَمْنَا, we have Islam. So that is a very powerful verse, because what it's showing you is that the people are coming to the holiest messenger and saying, we believe, we have Iman. And Allah is saying to the holy messenger, say to them, no, you don't have Iman. What you have is Islam, so don't say amanna, say aslamna, we have Islam. And then it says, lamma yadkhilul imanu fi qulubikum. Yes, you will have Iman when Iman has entered into your hearts, into your qalb. That tells you that Islam is when you submit with your tongue. Iman is when it is in your heart. Submission is to admit. Submission is to accept. Submission is to see something and bow to it and say, yes, I accept this. So when you say the kalma, that is Islam, you are saying it with your tongue. You are submitting. What are you submitting to? You are submitting to the fact that there is a creator and he has sent down messengers and there is a religion and there are rules and I have to follow them. I submit. Islam is submission. Taslim is submission. Aslamna means we submit. But when you submit how? One way to submit is with your tongue. That means when they say La ilaha illallah, they have submitted. When they say the whole kalma, they have submitted. But it needs to come into their heart. So when something comes into your heart, now you have Iman. And the Quran also says, if you look at Surah Baqarah or you look at Surah An-Nisa, you see the verse and it says, Bala man aslama wajhahu lillahi. The one indeed who submits his face. Aslama, you see the word aslama comes up again, which means to submit. Wajhahu, what are you submitting? Your face. Your face, lillah, for Allah. Wa huwa muhsinun. And this is the one who is muhsin. Muhsin is the one who has done the good deed. So the good deed is to submit your face to Allah. And when you submit your face, now you are at that level where you are submitting. Also, the verse says in Surah An-Nisa, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا, and whose deen is most beautiful. Allah is praising the deen. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا مِمَّنْ, compared to the one aslama, who submits wajhahu lillah, who submits his face for Allah. This is talking about sajda. That means salat is coming in Islam, and submitting your face is that which is coming in Islam. So sajda is part of Islam, but we need to have Iman as well. Sajda does not prove your Iman. Accepting and saying the kalma does not prove your Iman. What will prove your Iman is when something has come into your heart. And what needs to come into your heart is very important. And that is why another verse of the Quran says, Istajibu lil ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. This is Surah Al-Anfal. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, istajibu lillahi wa lirasuli idha da'akum lima yuhyikum. And in this verse, if you translate it, it says, "O those who believe." That means if you have Iman, istajibu, say labbaik, lillahi, to Allah, wali rasul, and to the Rasul, idha da'akum, when they invite you, lima yuhyikum, to that which will give you life. It's a very strange verse, because the verse is saying, say, accept the invitation of the Holy Prophet and accept the invitation of Allah. And how do you accept the invitation? By saying labbaik. So it's saying, say labbaik, and then you will go towards that which will give you life. But it is being commanded to the people who already have Iman. And so therefore they should be alive. And if they are living, then why are we not submitting? Why are they being asked to go towards something that gives them life when they're already alive? That's a strange one. That's like if I say to you, why don't you go to the hospital so you get some life? Why don't you go to that so-and-so place so you get some life? And all you have to say is, well, I'm already alive. And so they asked the Imam about this verse and they said, what does this mean? Were they not alive? The Imam says they may have been alive but not in the eyes of Allah, which means they may have been alive with a beating heart, and they may have been alive with breathing lungs. They may have been alive because they were eating, sleeping, and drinking and walking, but they did not have true life. And the Holy Prophet and Allah are inviting them to true life. They say, what was the true life that they were being invited to? And the Imam answers and says, this is the vilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. As-salatu was-salamu alayhi. So therefore what you see is that true life actually comes when you submit to vilayah. Until then you may have biological life, but that is not true life. True life is coming by submitting. And then the verse goes on to say, وَعَلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِ. And know that Allah is the one who comes between a person and his heart. Allah comes between you and your heart. Now we can never say that Allah comes between two things, because Allah is everywhere. I cannot say, oh, Allah came between this glass and this bottle. That would be shirk. That would be limiting Allah. That would be putting him in a specific spot. But Allah himself says, I come between a person and their qalb, and their heart, which basically means that Allah is the one who guides towards the heart. So Allah is guiding. Another verse of the Quran says, I hope I'm not reciting too many verses today. I'm noticing I'm losing your attention. Most of your heads are down. Are you submitting? Is the head down because you have submitted to Islam? Qalu aslamna. Ek salawat pad dijiye. Muhammadin wa alayhi. It's Friday, the mu'mineen are tired, so those who are tired, don't worry, you can bow your heads, it's okay. Feel free to relax, feel free to even go to sleep, it's no problem at all. This is farsh azah. And every moment here is ibadah. Every moment here is worship. Every moment here you are in the du'as of Bibi Sayyidah, whether you are listening or not listening, heads up or heads down. But what we're talking about is Islam and Iman. And Islam is aslamna. Islam is to submit. And so submitting is only what you do obviously. Your qalb is something that is hidden. You know, I have said this before, maybe you remember that your qalb is not your heart in the true sense of the anatomy, the biological heart. You have a heart inside your chest that beats. You know when it's beating fast, you know when it's beating slow. When you're sleeping, it's beating slow. When you're running, it's beating fast. But that's a different thing. The qalb is metaphysical. That means the qalb is not seen in the human body, it is hidden. It is here, but it is hidden. It is not containing blood, but rather it can contain nur. If you are part of Iman, it will contain nur. Now Allah says that I have placed myself between the person and their qalb, not between the person and their heart, the biological heart. The biological heart in Arabic is called fuad. Fuad is that heart which you can feel beating. Qalb, you're not going to see it. Even if you cut me open, you won't see it. It is invisible to the eye, but it sits right in the center of your chest. And this qalb is where Allah is saying that I come in between the person and their qalb. Now why is he saying that? Allah is everywhere. He's not literally coming in between. But another verse says, Laysa alayka hudahum. Allah says to the Holy Prophet in this verse, I do not put upon you the burden of guiding them, which means that the Holy Messenger is a guide, but the Holy Messenger is the perfect guide. And when he guides, if somebody is not guided, it's not because there was something missing from the guidance of the Holy Messenger. His message was perfect. It's because the receiver didn't receive it properly. And Allah is saying the reason they didn't receive it properly is because I don't allow it, which means He is the one who determines whether you will get Iman in your heart or not. There's a verse of Surah Baqarah. You'll have to pardon me today, but verses are coming one after the other. But it says, ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين. There are people who say that they believe in Allah, they have iman, and they have iman in Yawm al-Akhir. And Allah is saying, وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ, but they do not believe. I am not one who can say that this person doesn't believe, this person doesn't believe. But Allah is the one who knows the hearts and what is in the qalb. So He is the one who will say, وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ, and they do not believe. And He says, why? He says, خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ. Allah has put a seal upon their hearts. That means the heart now is closed. When the heart is closed, they will not see. Nothing will enter their heart. Imam Ali is walking in the streets of Medina. Someone looks at him and his heart is filled with love. Someone else looks at him and his heart is filled with jealousy. Why is there that difference? It's the same Ali ibn Abi Talib, but one is Salman and one is someone else. So what's going on over here? What happened is one did not believe in Allah, and if you don't believe in Allah, then Allah will put a seal on your heart, and then you will not see that love of Imam Ali. Sometimes we separate these loves, and what happens is when we separate them, we say, oh, this person loves Allah but they don't love Imam Ali. Does that not happen? And you'll see that amongst the people. This one loves Allah but not Imam Ali. This one loves both. This one, I don't know. I think this one loves Imam Ali more than loves Allah. What's going on over here? So we see all of these different kinds of groups. And the problem is that we have differentiated. You see, what happens is when you love something, how do you love them and why do you love them? You need to have some kind of an understanding of a being to love them. When you love someone, you need to be able to either see them or hear them or be able to think about them or be able to feel about them. You need to have a reason. There needs to be something that enters into your mind that allows you to grasp a being so you can direct your love towards them. I assure you, Allah does not come in here. He will not come in here in the form of a definition, imagination, in the form of thinking, in the form of conceptualizing. He is above our intellects to a degree we cannot encompass Him. Imam Ali has said this in his first khutbah that you find in Nahjul Balagha. So if He does not come in your mind, you cannot love Allah the same way you can something that comes in your mind. So Allah will create those beings whom if you love them, you love Him. And you will be able to imagine them, understand them, you'll be able to feel for them. So it's important to realize that your love for the Ahlul Bayt is your love for Allah. It is not different. It is the one and the same thing. That is why the hadith says, the one who loves my daughter loves me. The one who loves me loves Allah. It is not a step-by-step thing. It is not, oh, first you will love the daughter, then you will love the father, then you will graduate and you will love Allah. No, it's the same thing. If you love Imam Hassan, you love Allah. If you love Imam Hussein, you love Allah. Which means that loving Allah is hidden. Loving Hussein is manifest. Loving Allah you won't see. Loving Hussein you will see. If you are here on this Farsh Azza today and you came not because you were forced to, but you came out of love for Imam Hussein, which I know all of you did, of course, that means you love Allah. If you are saying Ya Ali, that means you love Allah. So the love that of Allah is something so latif and so ghaib, so hidden that it is hard to even feel. But what you will feel is the love for the Ahlul Bayt, and that will tell you that yes, you love Allah. And that's why Allah says, Laysa alayka hudahum. Oh my dear Prophet, it is not your burden whether they be guided or not. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ. But it is Allah who guides whom He wills. So Allah will guide. And when Allah is guiding, what happens? The verse says, وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ. When I guide them, they will spend, and they will spend from khair. What is khair? I hope we remember. I'm not sure. I've been saying it. Maybe I didn't. I forget what I've said and what I haven't said a little bit. But khair, you hear that word a lot, right? You hear it in the azan. Hayya ala khair al-amal. Hayya ala khair al-amal. Khair al-amal in your azan was not completed until the day of Ghadir. Ghadir is the day where your deen was completed. Ghadir is the day where your azan was completed. And when azan was completed on the day of Ghadir, what happened was certain messengers were sent in 4 directions to call the pilgrims back because the khutbah of Ghadir was about to take place. And they asked the holy messenger that those people are already on their way, how should we call them back? And they were told, Hayya ala khairil amal. So khairil amal is coming to listen to the khutbah of Ghadir. Khairil amal is accepting the wilaya of Amirul Mu'mineen. Khair is wilaya. So when it says, وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ, they do not spend from khair, إِلَّا لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. Whatever they spend from wilaya is for their own good. How do you spend from wilaya? Is wilaya in your pocket? Are you going to take it out and buy some bread with it? Are you going to give someone who needs some wilaya, take it out and give it to them? How do you spend from khair? How do you spend from wilaya? So this basically means that whatever wilayat you have, you should pass it on to others as well. So when you see someone who doesn't have it, you pass it on to them. That doesn't mean you have to go around preaching. You know, some people knock at your door and they give you pamphlets. You know, there's certain people who do that. You've probably experienced it. Everyone, I'm sure you have, right? Yeah. And there's certain sects. Now they've taken a different strategy now. And now I'm seeing that, you know, before it would always be, now I'm seeing people coming from our own skin color and background, but they're still like Jehovah's Witnesses, and they come with their pamphlets and they say, and there's Hindi written on there, Urdu written on there, so they've expanded their tabligh now, and they have different groups of people going to different neighborhoods depending upon which part of the world they're coming from. So that's tabligh in a way. And it's not that we're doing tabligh, no, but what happens is you make sure that you act in a way, because tabligh is important, which means spreading the word. But you know, one man came to the imam and said, I want to do tabligh. And the imam looked at him and said, you want to do tabligh? Okay, so what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to go to cities and I'm going to go here and there, I'm going to preach, and I need some advice from you. What should I do? The imam looked at him and said, don't open your tongue, don't speak a word. That was the only advice the imam gave him. So his tabligh was, don't speak a word, which means your tabligh is by your actions. So tabligh for us is not knocking on doors. Tabligh for us is by our actions, which means our actions should be in such a way that someone looks at you and says, you're amazing. How are you so knowledgeable and so wise and so kind and so compassionate and so just and so merciful and so broad-minded and so this and so that? And when they ask you that question, why are you so awesome? You say, because I learned it from the Ahlul Bayt. That is your tabligh. So your actions will determine your tabligh. And that is why the word balligh only comes once in the Quran. You know, every prophet comes to do tabligh, but the word balligh, which means the command of tabligh. Balligh means go do tabligh. Go do tabligh. And balligh only comes in the Quran once. It doesn't come for salat. It doesn't come for Sawm and Hajj and Zakat. It only comes in the verse, Balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. And this verse is also about Ghadir, which means the only time the Prophet was commanded Balligh was when he had to give the khutbah of Ghadir and have everyone pledge their allegiance to Imam Ali and accept the vilayat of Amirul Mu'mineen. So therefore your tabligh is that as soon as someone sees something good in you and they ask you, where did this come from? Then you point to your imam and you say, my imam taught me. So this is going to be your tabligh. Now, laysa وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ. So spend in your wilaya, and spend in your wilaya in a way that people ask you, why are you so amazing? And then the verse goes on to say, وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا إِلَّا إِبْتِغَاءَ, except that they will do ibtigha, which means if I have guided them, if I have put this love in their heart for Imam Ali, then what's going to happen? Ibtigha. They will do ibtigha. And what is ibtigha? Ibtigha is to search for something. Ibtigha is to be passionately looking for something that you know is there, but you haven't seen it yet. And the verse says, Ibtigha wajhillah. Look for wajhullah. Wajhullah is literally the face of Allah, but it is referring to your imam. Our imam said, Amirul Mu'mineen said about all of the imams, Al-Imamu kalimatullah wa hujjatullah wa nurullah wa hijabullah wa wajhullah wa ayatullah. So the Imam is wajhullah. And wajhullah doesn't mean that Allah has a face, but it means that your Imam is the ambassador, is the one who represents him, is the one who is going to give you what Allah wants you to know. So when you are searching for Imam Ali with your heart, that is ibtigha. And that ibtigha is always for the wajhullah. So keep that in mind. So we see, what did we determine today? I hope that it wasn't too boring or heavy, but what we determined was that Islam is the first level. It is submission. And when you submit to the laws of Islam, then Allah opens your heart and puts iman in your heart. Now I am assuming that all of you have love for Imam Ali in your heart, and the hadith says, Ya Ali, hubbuka taqwa wal iman. Oh Ali, your love is iman. Which means that if you have love for him in your heart, you are already at the level of iman. So we need to move beyond that and go to the next level and see if we're at the level of taqwa or not. Can I have a salawat, please? Karbala itself is a tale of love, compassion, and sacrifice. And one of the greatest sacrifices that were given, in a manner of speaking given, is the children. The children of Imam Hussein, the children of Hazrat Muslim. Hazrat Muslim took with him two young boys who were said to be around very small age. Their exact age is not mentioned, but we may have seemed them to be close to the ages of 5 and 6. The narrations do say that they were so young that their mother would comb their hair and their mother would put their clothes on them. That's how young they were. And when they went with their father, they were going to Kufa. And Kufa was a very dangerous place. And when their father was martyred, at that time those two children had nowhere to go. They were all alone in the city of Kufa, and the soldiers of Ibn Ziyad were looking for them everywhere. And when the soldiers of Ibn Ziyad were looking for them everywhere, I would kindly request the little ones, I know you are very young right now, but it is very important that when Masaib happen, you don't talk to each other. It is very important that when Masaib are happening, you try to listen. It's important that when Masaib are happening, you try to understand the suffering that these little children went through. And they are the ages of maybe 5 and 4. One's name is Muhammad, and one's name is Ibrahim. And they are the sons of Hazrat Muslim. Their father is Muslim bin Aqil. And Aqil is the brother of Imam Ali. And Muslim is the cousin of Imam Hussein. And their mother, her name is Bibi Ruqayya. And she is the sister of Hazrat Abbas. So these children are nephews of Imam Hussein and Hazrat Abbas. And they are the sons of Muslim and Bibi Ruqayya. And these two young children were lost in Kufa. And they were wandering the streets as they were lost. And they didn't know where to go. There was no one to help them or guide them or save them. And they could hear the armies and the soldiers marching, looking for them. They knew they were looking for them. They hid just outside of the walls of Kufa. And there was a place where there was a tree and a river, and they went and just sat down under the tree. They didn't know where to go. They did not even know that their father had already been martyred. And they were looking places to see if they could find some safety, some haven. They were looking for their father everywhere. It is said that when their mother said to them that now it is time for you to go with your father to Kufa, then the mother was holding them to her chest and crying and saying that you have never been separated from me. You have never even put on your own kurta or combed your own hair. Your father is going to be very busy. And he's going to be busy, so don't bother him and try and take care of yourselves. The mother said to the children, I will come. I will come to Kufa when it will be Eid, and then we will meet again. But the mother never saw her children again after that day. When they left with Muslim from Medina, the mother never saw her children again. Did you know that when the prisoners were captured after Ashura and they were taken to Karbala, they were taken to Kufa, this same mother saw the head of her husband upon the gate of Kufa. And she looked at Muslim and said, where are my two young ones? Where have they gone? It is said that the children sat there all night under that tree in fear, not knowing where their father was. And every time the soldiers passed by, they would hide up in the tree in the higher branches in the dark. But the tree and the branches were so dark, they would come back to the ground and they would wait again over there. They had not eaten or drank water in many days. They were thirsty, hungry, and they were looking for their dear father. But what happened was the morning came, and when the morning came, a woman came to get some water from the river. And so she put her flask into the river and she scooped up water. When they saw her, they had gone to hide in the branches. And when they hid in the branches, they were above. But when she looked down at the water, she could see their faces in the reflection of the water. And when she saw their faces, she immediately looked up, because she saw two faces that were shining like the moon. And when she looked at them, she said, who are you? And why are you here? They did not answer. She said, I can tell from your faces that you are from a holy family, from a good family. You must tell me who you are so I can take you to your parents. They looked at her and said, if we tell you who we are, do you promise you will not slap us? Do you promise you will not beat us? Because every time someone found out who they were, they would try to beat these children. It is said that they finally told her, and when they told her, they said, do you know the holiest messenger of Islam? They said, of course, I know him. They said, do you know Imam Ali? And she said, yes, I know him. They said, do you know Aqil ibn Abu Talib? They said, yes, I know Aqil. And then they said, well, do you know Muslim ibn Aqil? She said, of course I know Muslim ibn Aqil. They said, we are his sons. She said that the one who I work for, she is a Shia and she is a lover of the Ahlul Bayt. Come with me. I will take you to her home. And when I take you to her home, then you will be safe there. They went with her to the home of this lady. And when they went there, the lady took them in, fed them, and she hid them in a room. And when she hid them in a room, she said that my husband, whose name is Haris, is looking for you too, because there is a reward for you too. And she said that I have to hide you so that he doesn't find you. It is said that after she hid them in a room and locked the door, Haris came back home. He was tired. And he had been looking for these two children all through the streets of Kufa, because there was a reward of 5,500 dirham for these two children of Muslim. When Haris came in, he was already angry and tired. And he said, I could not find those two children. It happened that he noticed the door that was locked. And when he saw that door was locked, he looked at his wife and said, why is this door locked? And the reason he asked was because those two children, while in that room, had fallen asleep. And when they fell asleep, they saw in their dream their father. And when they saw their father looked wounded, and their father looked like he had been through a battle and he had blood pouring from his wounds. And when they saw their father opened his arms and said that I have come to take you, my children. It is time for you to come to me. It is said that they suddenly woke up and the younger brother said, Father. And when he said, Baba, as soon as he said that, that sound was heard by Haris. And when Haris heard that sound, he broke the door down. And when he broke the door down, he saw the two little children there. And when he saw the two little children, he grabbed them by their hair. And he said, I have been looking for you everywhere, and you have been hiding in my home. It is said that he took them and he dragged them to the river. And when he dragged them to the river, they said that if you let us go or you sell us, you will get more money than Ibn Ziyad is giving you. He said that, no, I want to take your heads to Ibn Ziyad. It is said that when he looked at them, the older brother came forward and said, then you must kill me first, because my mother taught me that the older brother is like a father. And so therefore, the son should never be martyred in front of the father. Then the younger brother came forward and said that, no, me first, because my mother taught me that the younger brother is like a son, and I will not watch my father be martyred. It is said that he put them both down, one upon each other. And when finally he did his deed, he threw their bodies into the river. And as their bodies were in the river, it is said that the older brother's body waited for the younger brother. And when they came together, their bodies held each other in their arms as their lifeless bodies went down the river. And it is said there was a woman who was clothed in black, and it was none other than Bibi Sayyada. And she was looking at them and she was saying, come, my children, come into my arms. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ لَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ ماتم حسین.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر، کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر، کیسی سجاد رو رہے ہیں زینب سے منہ چھپا کر، ایسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر، کیسی یہ شام آئی. ایک سمت بے کفن ہے بائی کا اس کے لاشا، عباس کی بہن کا پاکی رہا نہ پردہ، اب سوچتی ہے زینب مانگے کفن یا چادر، ایسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر، کیسی بازو کا ہی پرے ہے لاشا کا ہی پرا ہے، زینب کی بے بسی پر غازی تڑپ رہا ہے، روتی ہے بے کسی بھی فرش عذاب چا کر، ایسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر، کیسی جو گھر میں دو قدم بھی پیدل نہیں چلی ہے، ایک دن میں وہی زینب عباس بن گئی ہے، پہرے پہ آ گئی ہے تنہا علم اٹھا کر، کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر، کیسی سجاد سے لپٹ کر کہتی رہی سکینہ، احساس ہو رہا ہے میں ہو گئی یتیمہ، ظالم ڈرا رہا ہے نیزہ دکھا دکھا کر، ایسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر کیسی لاشوں کے درمیان وہ بابا کو ڈھونڈتی ہے، منہ اپنا پیٹ کر یہ فریاد کر رہی ہے، قدموں میں ہی سلا دو بابا مجھے بلا کر، کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر کیسی جب آ گئے جب آ گئے نجف سے بیٹی کو ملنے بابا، زانوں پہ رکھ کر سر یہ کہنے لگی وہ دکیا، زینب اجڑ گئی ہے کرب و بلا بسا کر، کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر کیسی خیموں کے ساتھ جھولا بستر بھی جل گیا ہے، ناموس مصطفیٰ کو باغی کہا گیا ہے، لے جائیں گے صبح کو قیدی ہمیں بنا کر، کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر کیسی گزرے گی کیسے یاور مقتل سے شہزادی، عابد نے رات و مومن یہ سوچ کر گزاری، زینب کا نام لے گا ظالم جو مسکرا کر، کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر کیسی سجاد رو رہے ہیں زینب سے منہ چھپا کر، کیسی یہ شام آئی اولاد سیدہ پر یا حسین یا حسین
جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا آل عمران کہاں اور زندان کہاں، یہ بہن قید ہوئی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا آیا، ہم کو پانی نہ ملے تیری خوشبو تو رہے، تیرے بازو نہ کٹے چاہے مشکی زاچ دے، یہ مگر ہو نہ سکا تیرے بازو ہے جدا، مجھ پہ ہے تشنا لبی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی،
دھوپ میں تو تھا شجر، تجھ سے آباد تھا گھر، ہے برہنا میرا سر، کیا نہیں تجھ کو خبر، اے علمدار وفا اس بہن کو باخدا، تجھ سے دارس تھی بڑی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، آ گئی شام علم لٹ گئے اہل حرم، ریت پر جلتی ہوئی ہو گیا ٹھنڈا علم، پرسہ دینے کے لیے مجھ سے ملنے کے لیے آ گئے بابا علی، تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر میں صدا دیتی رہی، کیا کہوں شیر میرے بیردا ہم کو لیے، یہ مسلمان سارے شہر در شہر گئے، خلقت کوفہ کبھی خلقت شام کبھی، بارہا ہم پہ ہنسی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی، تو نہ آیا غازی، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد۔ متوجہ زیارت۔ السلام علیک یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیک یا ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیک یا ابن امیر المؤمنین و ابن سید الوسیین، السلام علیک یا ابن فاطمۃ الزہرا سیدۃ النساء العالمین، السلام علیک یا مولایا وعلی انصارک مستشہدین معک جمیعا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیک یا غریب الغرباء، السلام علیک معین الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام علیک یا مغیث الشیات والزوار فی یوم الجزاع، السلام علیک یا انیس النفوس، السلام علیک المدفون بأرض الدوس ابو الحسن علی ابن موسیٰ رضا وراز بالقدر والقضاء، السلام علیک یا صاحب العصر والزمان، الامان 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 من فتنة الزمان، السلام علیک خلیفۃ الرحمن، السلام علیک امام الانس والجان، السلام علیک شریک القرآن، السلام علیک ضعف الظلم والعدوان، السلام علیک قوم الکفر والطغیان، اجل اللہ فرجک وسهل اللہ مخرجک ودہورک، والسلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔